Okay, hang out. We'll get a few people in here and we'll get started. Hey Chuck, how you doing? I don't know what happened. What are you doing? Are you driving? Shouldn't you be driving? Or are you home already? All right. I thought we'd now, Chuck. I think what you're asking is why did the video stop? I pause it to. Oh, that's nice and quiet, isn't it? I pause it to share out into various locations, and that makes the video stop. I think. I don't know what happens on your end. Okay. So, I thought since I had been receiving a large number of questions and comments on the game, much to my chagrin, I am gonna try and do a little bit of live play here. So we'll see what happens. If the video at any point starts to lag out or anything like that, I might. Ooh, let me just check to make sure Wi-Fi is on. Hang on a second. Yeah, okay, we're good. We're good. All right, I'm just gonna get started. If you want to ask questions, feel free to rock and roll. We'll do that. I'll try and pay attention to the notifications. It may be a little early to do in one of these live plays and actually have very many folks turn up, unless you're on the East Coast, in which case it's already evening time. But I am now back on my alcoholic beverages. I'm allowed to have alcohol again, so that's always nice. And let's do a little bit of a run through on this game. It's turn 6, and I'm going to make a note here so I don't get carried away playing the game with you folks. And let's see, turn 6. So there's a very strict sequence of play when you're playing the advanced game, and I have a copy of it here somewhere. I am going to do my best to stick to that, just for your benefit more than anything else. My hope here is that you can see me do a couple of combats if they happen, and see what's involved and see that it's all really not that hard, and then we'll kind of move on. So I probably want to focus more and a little bit more on sort of gameplay and tactics than I do on the mechanics of the game, but by all means ask questions. So the first thing that you do in the turn is the spotting phase, and what I'm supposed to have done here is you put these counters down that have a move or a fire on them when you indeed move or fire. So I missed this guy here. He moved last turn and in fact fired last turn as well. He was actually sitting up here, I believe. He fired at 264 over there where that smokestack is, and then reversed after taking a shot from a Songster missile. He's not in danger from Songster shots, but a lucky KE round will knock him on his ass. So everyone's gone very cautious now, and I'll explain why they've gone cautious in just a second. So we put these little dudes down here, and that's the kind of that lets you know that when you're trying to spot, when you're looking to see if you can see units, that will give you an indication, okay, these guys did move or they fired, and that's going to make an adjustment on one of their spotting tables. The net of all that is, though, given how close in everyone is, we are not going to have any issues. Pretty much everybody can see everybody, except perhaps these guys in here if they had not fired. So, for instance, that guy has not fired, and if we were trying to spot him, we would be looking at a dude that is in medium cover, and he would be, we'd have to be 7 hexes away from him to potentially see him. So he is not someone I can just point and shoot at, but I certainly can point and shoot at these dudes. And actually this one and this one, but not this one and this one, which is interesting, right? Okay, let's see who we got here. Okay, Jordan, hey man, good to see you. Chuck, well, I'm not sure if Chuck is still here or not. And Bruce, yeah, here we go. Just for the record, I don't do bailout rolls. I think that's gay. I mean, if you're in a tank, if you're in an M1 and you roll a bailout from some shot, come on, it's not going to happen. No one's jumping out of that tank. I think you're going to feel much safer in the tank. So if indeed that happened, and if I did roll, we would just call it a knockout and be done with it, and move on. Okay, so I digress. Sequence of play. So we did this spotting phase business. Now we're going to put command chits down, and I'm going to you put them down face down so your opponent can't see. Keep life simple. We're playing solo. We are going to put them down face up. Now, here's the interesting thing. I'm using the command rules in this game. I started out with 13 units for the Americans. So 10, they're season 6 and 15, that's right. And 3, I had 9 commands available. I've lost 2 units. So I'm now down to 8 commands available. And you probably can't read that, but trust me. So I do a 6 and 2 is 8 because I'm using the 10 and the 3, and I go across to the type of unit they are. They're a seasoned unit. So I've got 8 commands I can issue. And I'm also using the optional command span rules, which mean that my command unit, I've got to be within 10 hexes of my command unit to even issue commands. Dudes like this here, these 2 guys can share a command, so I can give that one command for the 2 of them. They're both going to have to, I don't know if they move together or not, but whatever, you'll get the idea in a minute. So there's one order there. I'm going to put another order here because I want to make a minor move there, and that's 3 right there. Now, over on the far left-hand side of the map, you can see that we have a slightly more complex situation here. Hey, John, welcome. Cajun seasoned. Chuck, you're just a bizarre guy. Hey, congratulations on the new job, by the way, Chuck. I'm sure you're very excited about that new role. Over here on the left, and I'm going to, once I put these orders down, I'm going to explain what I'm doing and why in just a second. I've modified this scenario, and I really want to get this guy into the fight because he has an ATGM, and I think I can see how I can do that. I'm going to pop a move on him. I'm going to put a move on that guy. That puts me at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 orders, and I don't know that I'm going to. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to move this dude. Yeah, I need to move these 2 guys as well. 5 orders, 6, 7 orders. Okay, so there's 7 orders. And that's all I'm doing. You'll note that there's no fire orders here at all for the Americans. We'll come to why that is in just a second. Okay, over on this, the Soviet side, the Soviets are down to 5 T-80s, 6 T-80s, all of their best tanks, basically. They've only lost 1 of the T-80s, but they have lost 4 T-72s and 4 T-64s. So the Yanks kind of cherry-picked a little bit. Now, they started out with 13 units, and 13, and they were seasoned as well. So they had 8 commands to start with, and they've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoa. That's going to leave them with, wow, that's not going to leave them with a lot. So it's going to leave with 4 commands. Wow. Okay, 4 commands. I'll come to your comments in a minute. I'll just double check on them. So I'm going to put one here. In fact, here, yeah, one here. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move these guys now as a pack. 2, 3. So it's not, we're actually not going to see a lot of shooting this turn, potentially, unless we get, no, we're not going to see a lot of shooting. Oh, well, that just is what it is. We'll see. Oh, I see. Seasoned unit. Got it. Fantastic. Okay, excellent. Chuck the funny guy. All right, so what's the situation strategically, strategically here? We got to capture these points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and they're worth a couple hundred victory points each. But each tank is worth somewhere between 150 and 200 victory points, and you need to win by over 300 victory points. So with the significant number of losses that the Soviets have taken and that the US have not taken, the Americans are sitting back here thinking, if I can kill one more tank, I've now got the margin of victory locked down. That is what I need to do. 1, 2, 3. I need to put an overwatch on this guy here. And we'll talk about doing commands in a second. So they've got it locked down. They really don't need to do terribly much other than not die, and they will win. They need to kill one tank and hang on. Now, if I was, Crazy Ivan, maybe I would want to do something wacky with the Americans and try and capture the rest of the bridges. But with 4 T-80s pretty much hidden in those woods, we are not going to have a lot of fun trying to charge across this open ground here to take them on. So we are going to try and hunt that little sucker over there by himself, and we are going to be wary of that guy, and we're going to work out how we mitigate the risk here. The Soviets, what they're going to do is they're basically going to up stumps and come across and come on this way and try and flank around and see how many units they can kill in and around here, because all the soft, weak M60A3s are over here, and the Songster missiles are going through them like hot knife through butter. So I know these guys are probably going to end up hiding behind this hill. Now, is that tactically realistic? I really don't know, but I don't want my guys to die, and there's no point in those tanks trying to bum rush or charge Soviet T-80s. They will die. As we saw, as you read the gameplay thing that I've been posting up, you'll see that these T-72s, surprisingly, in one turn, got to this section, took the bridge, and then were trying to dump into here to hide out, and just got their asses handed to them by the M1s, and one of the M60A3s knocked them out. So that's kind of the tactical situation. So let's get back to what now the gameplay and how the game actually kind of plays out. So we'll just see what happens here. Let's see, we got a question or a comment. Hex scale is 100 meters, and here we go. So first thing we're going to do is, and if you like at the end, if we don't get a combat in this turn, I will fake one up, and I'll run through it for you and show you how it works. So we need to roll for initiative. That's the first thing we've got to do. So we're going to do this. That's these guys, blue force and red force. So we'll do 2 sets of dice. Blue force, red force. We're going to see who goes first. There's no modifiers to the scenario, and I always use these guys as the 10s. So they roll a 7, and these guys roll 26. The Soviets have it to start with. So the Soviets get to fire their first platoon of tanks first. They have 2 platoons left. There's 4 here, plus the command unit for the company, and one second platoon is over here, and that's the remnants of the second platoon. So these guys get to fire first. Now, I don't believe there are any shots that they have over here. If I look at lines of sight from there to there, I think this actually, you know what? They can see. There's a shot from here, right through here to this M60A3. So let's do that. Let's do that shot. Now it's a long shot, but as you will see in this game, she's a dirty, deadly one. So let's grab the T80. Let's grab the poor old M60A3 card. And what I do is I put them together like this, so I can see the offensive information and I can see the defensive information, and I don't make any confusing mistakes. And you'll see what that all means in a second. Now, because this is tank warfare, and I know all you ASL guys will immediately go, well, hang on a second, this is nowhere near as granular as ASL, and ASL is far superior. Yes, we all know that. ASL is perfect. We are going to roll a handful of dice, and those dice are going to tell us a bunch of shit about what is going to happen in this scenario. And here's what we're going to do. I just roll a handful of dice, and I have a look at the result, and then we go from there. And I'll put them all out in front of you in just a second. So just bear with me, and we'll work through all the mechanics of this stuff in a minute, and I'll zoom in. Okay, so it's going to be a bad shot. Nothing's going to happen here. And I'll show you why in a second. And we'll do some what ifing. All right. Now, before I roll the dice, I'm supposed to declare the type of shot that I am going to make. And in this particular instance, zoom in here, I would be wise to use the Songster missile. Can you see that guy there? That song, it says Songster, okay? And you'll see that the P stands for point blank, the S stands for short range, and the M stands for medium, long, and extreme. Now, ATGM shots are actually reversed. The ranges are, it's kind of funky, it's reversed. So if I'm at a range of 1, I'm the equivalent, the chance for me to hit at a range of 1, i.e. 100 meters with the Songster ATGM, is like trying to hit something at extreme range with a regular Sabot round, okay? So point blank range, the benefits of point blank range at 40 plus hexes is better, right? Okay, so I think this is 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we are more than 4, less than 40, so it's point blank range, okay? And I think 40 is actually the limit there. Sorry guys, I said 40 or more, but it's 40 is the limit. So anyway, so I'm at point blank range. Now, I'll just bear with me on this, okay? Because this is only like this for ATGM rounds. So now I'm going to look at this thing here, and I'm going to move. Oh come on, here we go. Let me zoom out a bit. I've got this nifty little table here, and I'm going to go over to here, the AP hit modifiers. I'm going to look at range, and I'm going to start at point blank. This is not going to work like this. The glare is annoying me. I can't imagine how it's annoying you. I'm just going to set this down here, like so. I'm going to get up close to this and zoom in. Hopefully the glare will go away. There we go. Okay. I'm at 90. I have a 90% chance of hitting at point blank range. But there are column or row modifiers over here that we need to look at. And the first thing is the target moving? And if it is, I'm using an ATGM, it's a -1. So I go down to this column. Okay. And then I look at some of these other things. Is it in cover? Am I short halt firing? All these different types of things. Am I, there's one here that is going to come into factor. Thermal imager smoke. There we go. Smoke is a -3. So I'm going to drop down -3. 1, 2, 3. And now I have a 54% chance of hitting. And the other thing that is going to busted up for the Soviets is that tank last turn rolled over its ammo limit, and so it is now under ammo limit constraints, and you can see here that's another -3. 1, 2, 3. So in this case I would have to roll 27% or less to get a hit. Okay, got it. So let's just assume, for the sake of the argument, so that's a miss, and all the other die rolling doesn't matter. So we can just move on to the next activity. But let's assume for a second that that 79 was actually a 0-9, and I rolled a 0-9, so it's a hit. Okay, so it's a great shot. That means I hit the tank. All right. So I go over to the little tank doohickey, and I look at the data card, and it says penetration value for a songster hit, no matter what, against armor is 144. 144 factors. Holy dooly, that'll leave a mark, right? You're thinking? Well, indeed it will. And I know I've bumped all my guys here, but that's okay. So we're going to now look at this next die that I roll, and I rolled a 7 for that die. And I just go to the AP hit locations, which you can't see because I'm holding it wrong, and I'm firing into the front of the unit, and I look at number 7, it's whole front. 7 through 9 is whole front with an asterisk. What does the asterisk mean? I don't know. Oh, if I'm hull down, which I'm not, it would be a miss. Okay, so, right, so that is the, that's all I need to do. The next 2 dice, I think you actually only use these when you're doing HE style rounds or kinetic energy rounds. You don't do them for ATGM rounds. So the next 2 dice you are rolling. If you're using this optional rule, this is an optional rule here, fellas. No, sorry. You would do this, but this is how many extra shots you might get if you roll really well. Tanks don't get extra shots because most of them just have a fire rate that's normal. The next 2 dice, these 2 black ones here, are the AP penetration variability. So if you want to have some variation in the game, and so that not every shot does exactly the same amount of penetration, you roll these 2 dice, and you can use this optional rule, but you can skip it. I often, if I can't be bothered, I just skip it. But I roll a 6 and a 1, and that's kind of interesting because a 6 is going to add nothing at any rate, because 111, remember I had a penetration number of 144, so I look on this column, this row here, and then a 6, and I said a 1, right? 1 is going to subtract 12 from the penetration. So that's going to bring it down to 132 is the penetration. Now, if that was correct, it's 132, right? So just remember that number. Let's write it down so I don't forget it, 132. And then this was I'm pretty sure this was a 6. A 10 would be just as awesome. It doesn't really matter. Where is the friggin' 6? There we go. All right. So now there's a comment. Yes, you do use the AP hit table even on ATGMs. Because all we're trying to do right now is get a hit, okay, to work out whether we hit or not. And there are modifiers, and we're using all the various modifiers. So now I go to the defensive information, and remember I said that 7 was a whole front. So I go to whole front, and it's a level shot. It's not a rising shot or a falling shot. I go to whole front. 48 is the defensive number, okay? I guess you guys can see that right there. It says 48, and it says KE or CE, all right? Now, if you look, I told you 132 is the penetration, and 48 is the defensive number. 132 is a bigger number than 48 last time I checked. That means the shot penetrates, all right? Now, time out for 2 seconds. Let's imagine if this was all reversed. See here where we've got, and that was a CE shot, right? A C, see that songster, it says CE right there, okay? So if I was shooting a CE round at the T80, it's got CE 1.5, and if I hit a whole front there, 119, see how it says 1.5? Well, say if you have to do any math, there's a nifty little special armor table that's got ERA rates and ERAC rates and LRAC rates and all sorts of stuff. I go to, what did I say, 119? Something like that. So we just go to around about one here, 120. I go across to 1.5. Is that right? 1.5? Why does that say 180? Oh yeah, that's right. 1.5. 1.5 times 120 is 180. So that would give me 180 factors of defense because the armor, because the T80 has this CE-based armor, chemical energy-based protective armor. That's the little blocks that they put on the tanks that you see on the T-72s, right? So they explode and they mitigate the damage from the songster. So I would have had 180 factors versus 132. So it would not have been a hit, which means we would ignore the 6. Okay, so let's continue on. T-80's firing at the M60A3, and we now are going to resolve the actual combat and see what the damage is, because the damage roll, remember we changed it to make it a 9 so that it would be a hit, so I can show you how this works, would be a 9, and I roll the 6 on the damage, and I go over to here and I look at the damage table, and 6 is a KO or a knockout. 3 through 6 is a knockout. So that tank would be out of the game. We put a little KO marker to denote where the unit died for whatever reason, if you're into that sort of thing, and because it might provide some defensive terrain benefit in the future. All right, so that's what would happen. In this particular instance, the tank driver, the tank gunner, rolled a 79 and missed. So the tank is not dead, and I'm not prepared to lose a tank so that you guys can actually see the result. Okay, so as you can see, rather than having to look all of that stuff up, I pick a handful of dice up, I roll the dice, I I see that it's 79. I don't care what the rest of the dice say, it doesn't matter, right? Because the 79 is a miss, and we move on, and it's quick and it's easy. These two are optional dice that give you a little bit of extra flavor, and you'll be surprised when you use this, and it doesn't take you any extra effort to throw these dice. You'll be surprised how often, because of these defensive values here, right? How often the difference on that little variation table here, this penetration variance table makes, if you're subtracting 12, let's say we were firing, what was an M1 Abrams? What was an M1A1? Here we go. Where's an M1A1? Hello? Oh, it's on the back of that guy. Let's do this older M1. You can see here, whole front defensive value is 100 for kinetic energy rounds. So that would be your standard APFDS kind of shot, the fin-based rounds coming in. But look, CE is times 2, so I have 190 as my defensive value versus the songster of 144. So as long as the M1 is turret front on, hull front on, they are fine. But if it hits the rear, you're dead meat. So these M1s, I could drive those guys right up the belly to the T80 and pound on them if I wanted to, with no fear of that songster missile taking me out. But if I had have chosen to fire, a kinetic round, right, this 125 millimeter round here, that's a different story, okay? Because now we're looking at their point blank. They've got 108 penetration. And I'm going to be doing defensively 100 or 100 here, or if it's a rising shot, I've got 107. If it's a falling shot, I've only got 95, right? So now that variance that we were talking about, where the 108 at 108 and even at short range at 97 versus 100, it becomes a very tight dance of who's going to get the better shot, where's the shot going to hit, and if you use that optional rule, then it really starts to bring in a lot of tense narrative into the game. So, okay, so that is a combat. And that's 30 minutes of me waffling on about a combat that actually didn't happen because they missed, right? But hopefully that gives you just a little feel for that. Let me see what the comments are saying. Man, you guys make me want to drink. BU, brew up result. Yes, good job, Rob. Rob's on the ball. What's the 610? The 610 where? On the thingy. The 610. You must be looking at perhaps the... look, there's a whole bunch of data on these cards. Okay. I don't know all of the data. I don't have it all memorized because I don't need to know it all. I can look, I've got a little, cheat sheet, but I go across here. It's the movement over land, okay, over regular terrain, movement on a trail, movement on paved, B+5. Let me see if I can find my little piece of paper that might tell me what the B means. B+5 is I don't know. Bog modifier. That's right. It's the bog modifier. There are certain locations where you can get bogged. TR is just a transport thing. The weight, then you've got the weapon type, you've got the number of vertices you can turn in a turn. The SB rating is something to do with stabilization, I believe. So that's going to impact your when you do short halt fire. Then you've got your optics, laser optics and infrared. You've got rate of fire as normal. Remember earlier on I was showing you a table and I said, oh, we're not using that. See, that says N. If it said R for rapid or Q for quick, you would have a factor here. And then you've got the ammo ratings, which we don't need to get into, but basically you roll a die for these numbers, and if you roll over them, you suffer ammo penalties. You saw me take that -3 roll, that -3 rows to the hit table. Okay, and then we did all this stuff here, and then there's damage roll. The GP is just general purpose ammo, right? That's your machine guns firing at infantry and other soft targets, and you obviously have your AA gun and stuff like that. Then your defensive modifiers, same thing for the M68-3, okay? And there's cards. Each one of these has 2 vehicles on them. Here's the M1A1. You can see their defensive values. Pretty much the same as the M1. The turret is stronger. That's about it. Front and side, I think, is a little stronger as well, probably. So that's that, okay? So now, yeah, roll 6 through 10 for a brew up. I'm sorry, I'm just catching up with you guys as you're chatting. Let me see here. Where is it? T80, 7 through 10, buddy. For that T80, if he's taking a shot. 3 through 6 would be a knockout. And these vary by tank, of course. The M68-3 or the M1A1, well, those two are the same. They're modern tanks, right? So they're all going to do the same sort of shot there. But if we pull a 272, it's got the same as well. Trust me, they are different. Here we go. Oh, fuck, that's the same as well. 3 through 6. Well, some of them are different. I can tell you that because I've seen it. I don't know where they are, though. Well, how about that? All of the good tanks have basically the same rating. That would make sense. Here we go. I don't know. Now, here's something interesting. Here's a Bradley firing its kinetic weapon. Look, it gets a knockout on a 7 through 10. But it only does it only damages a tank, and each tank can take 2 damages on a 4 through 6, and no damage on a 1 through 3. 6 through 10 on a songster. Correct. Yes. Well, there you go. Very good. Very astute observation. 6 through 10. Correct. So see, there is some variance. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to have to wet my whistle. And let's see where we're at. Whoa, easy there. Okay. Hope that didn't freak anybody out. Okay, so that was the, we fired that unit there. I'm going to have to turn the air conditioner on and make it a little loud for a minute. It's like a jet engine starting up. And hopefully that won't make the noise too unbearable. Okay, so that's going to be the end of the firing cycle, the fire cycle of the direct fire combat step. That's what that's called. We don't have any indirect fire. So now we're going to get, what would happen next is if this platoon had all fired, and there was another platoon that needed to fire somewhere over here, say, I use the staggered die roll business for initiative. I would roll the die, you would roll the dice again for initiative and see which formation gets to go first. Now there are some situations where one side's gonna have a distinct advantage over the other, and they're pretty much gonna get to go first all the time. But I still like to do that staggered kind of initiative thing anyway. I was doing that before they released those rules, just because the whole idea of one side firing everything first and then the other side getting to move first just seemed really lame to me. So, okay, so now we need to move on to the movement phase. And the movement phase, I just move everybody. So one side will move first, and typically the guys that got the fire first, I think it's the other dudes that get to move first. So we're going to move the Americans, the US forces first. And let's do something interesting over here. I want to see if I can try and sneak up on this dude a little bit. I've got an M1A1 here. I've actually got two M1A1s. So we're going to see if we can't squeak up on these fellas here and get a decent shot in. The short halt, they have this concept of a short halt order, and you have to fire first and then move. You can't move and fire, which why? I don't know. So there's that. I think in modern combat there's a lot of firing on the move, and I would see no reason why, in reality, this tank couldn't perhaps we've all seen pictures of this stuff. I'm told that the stabilization in these tanks is pretty amazing. Maybe that's later versions, I don't know. That this guy could move 1, 2, 3, shoot, and keep moving and not really face any penalties. Maybe that makes the game too unbalanced, who knows. Anyway, so we're gonna move. I've got one move command. I'm going to move these guys as a stack. So I'm going to go 1, 2 to here. Actually, you know what? I could go, 1, 2 to here. Now, here is my best chance for the Soviet player to get a shot from the center here into the center there. And because it cuts this edge, I'm going to it's going to be on the front, but it's going to be on the front side, and that is going to be expensive for the Americans. They're going to probably pay a horrible penalty here for making this move. But I need to try and close in here, and I need to knock a tank out, and I can afford to lose 1 or 2-ish. So we're going to roll again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, so we grab a T80 card, and this obviously goes a little faster when I do it by myself, and I'm not trying to explain it to you. What did I say? It was an M1A1 and a T80. So here we go. Let's bring these bad boys up. I'll pop them down here. We'll just pop it down there. I don't know if you can see that, but there you go. We'll zoom in and out as we need to. said range 8, all right? So 7, I'm going to use APF SDS here. I think that's going to be best because I'm not going to be, I want to be, I'm going to be at short range. This would be, yeah, I think I'm going to be best off doing a Sabbath shot. So, you know, short range, so it's up to 12 hexes. I'm going to have 97 penetration. Let's make it over there, 97. And the last guy had a 79 and missed, right? I need to make a note of that for my little story. And so we're going to grab a bunch of dice. We're going to grab 2 dice to hit with, 1 for location, 2 for the variable, and 1 for the actual damage. And I'm just going to roll them. Boom. Oh dear. Okay. That's going to be a hit. And it's going to be on location 4. Ooh, well, luckily we're going to have at least some subtraction. And it's going to be a 7. So if it penetrates, this is going to kill a tank. So let's look at the mods though, right? Just to double check everything. We said we're at short range. So we're going to go to short range here, and I have a 70% chance to hit. I rolled a 13. So there's nothing here on all these to hit modifiers that is going to drive me down 8 columns. There's no smoke, even though he's moving, even though I'm on Overwatch, it's still not going to drive me down. So I don't even need to waste any time looking at all these modifiers. So we know it's a hit. Okay. In fact, I'm just going to write this down real quick. 13, 4. 1 and 7 and 7. That's how I T80 on and 1A1. All right. Let's go to hit location. Is going to be now it's front side, and I rolled a what? A 4. Ooh, turret side. This is not. I don't think this is going to be good. Turret side. Yeah, we might. We're going to eat it. These guys are going to eat it. For crying out loud! Why did I do this? Shit. Okay. Penetration. Variance 1 and 7. So now let's go to 1 and 7. 1 is minus. I'm on the. Ooh. I've got 97 penetration. So that's minus 10, and a 7 is plus 3. So that's a net minus 7. That might be the saving grace. A net minus 7. It's turret side, and it's a penetrator. Okay. And I go to the turret side. Here you go front side, and I said turret side, right? And it's on the level. Ah, shit, it's 59. All right, 59. And these guys have a 97, so it drops them down to a 90. So 90 is greater than 59. That is going to penetrate. We go straight to the 7 die roll. 7 die rolls a brew up. We lose a tank. That just cost me 200 victory points. How you feeling now, champ? Let me just, where's my clipper? Clip this guy real quick. Get in there. All right, so we got to brew up. I think they can only fire once. Is that right? On Overwatch? Does anybody know? Yeah, boom indeed. That's a beatdown. I was trying to work out if I could come around the corner, you know, if I could have faced like that and gone this way. You really can't. Your facing is to the face front, so you can't drift sideways. So it's not muddy enough to do a drift move. Anyway, so there you go. Well, I might prop here then, stop my move, and on my last move I'm going to see, even with the rotation, now it's a side shot that way, so I might as well stay this way. You know what I'm going to do? That's what I'm going to do. Where is the turret marker? I am going to face the turret like that. I don't know if that makes any difference, but it makes me feel like I'm doing something proactive. All right. How pathetic is that? Okay. Did I say that was a brew up? It was just a knockout, wasn't it? Okay. So that means no, it was a brew up. So that means there's smoke. Lordy, let's use one of these then. So now that's going to help us shooting out, and being shot at will give us some modifiers. So that's so those guys do not die in vain. All right, now I'm pissed. We're going to move the rest of the boys. And what's up, Patrick? We're going to try and come up with a plan to not lose anything else. Oh. So let's do this. 1, 3, 5 to there. Now 3, there's a shot, except they're moving. So I don't have to worry. Now see, that's the thing. I don't know that those guys have move orders technically. So I'm gonna reverse up the hill because I know there's guys there and I know that they might shoot at me. So it's only fair to do that. So that's going to be actually 3 to there, so we're going up the slope, and then another 3 is 6, and that's going to be my full movement rate, and I'm going to turn 1. Those guys should be safe there. I'm going to take that turret marker off there, and these guys are going to turn around. Ooh, what is that terrain? Can we go that way? Would that be fun? Would you like to go that way? Let's see, that is crops. I don't think crops block line of sight. That would be really lame if they did. Crops cover none, so that would be a hint, right? Partial hold down though. Let's see, what could we do here that might be interesting? I'm going to do this. 1. I'm going to move into here. 2. I'm going to present myself here. 2. On that track. And you know what? I'm even going to, you know what I'm going to do? Yeah, I'm going to do 1 here this way, and this guy's going to drive into these light woods, and he's going to go 1 that way. And that's all I'm going to do there. Now over here, we've got a kind of a mess. Let's have a quick look over here. A couple of, that's ASL. Where? I'm sure there's a rule if it's winter time in Germany. Right now it's not. So let's move these dudes. I'm going to back this guy up. 2, 4 to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here, and then 6, 7. And these guys, these 3 will stay there. I'm going to spin this dude around. 1, 2, 3. You know, I just have no need to expose these dudes, as we discussed earlier on. So let's just stay here on the road. So they've moved. We leave a move marker on them, not that anybody can see them. I am not going to bring that guy forward. We're going to leave him right there. We didn't give him a command anyway. This chappie over here, he's got an M1. He's an M1, and he's a decent dude. He is going to 1. I think it's 3, and we have free rotation on the hex move. That will give us a line of fire across here. I don't know if you can see that, across here and potentially over there, if from here across there. So I need to stop the Soviets from doing whatever they're planning on doing, and the Americans need to knock out 1 more tank to tighten things up, and now probably need to knock out 2 tanks to tighten things up, because I was a dumbass and moved. I should have let them come to me. Okay, so that so that's all the allies moved. Now we can move the Ruskies, and so we would flip a command over, because it would be like this, and we go, oh yeah, I'm moving these guys, I'm not in Overwatch, and I would move. So I don't know that these guys don't have, I now know what most of these guys are doing, although they might have, no one else has got a line of sight that they could tell anyway. So we're going to go 1 in hex, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to there. And I'm going to get the, I'm going to just stack these guys up because I'm very short on commands due to losses, and these guys will kind of provide some sort of overwatch fire or covering fire. These guys now get a move marker put on them. This guy gets a move marker put on him. He had a move marker. And there you go. That basically is a turn. Now, at the end of the turn, there's some cleanup you do. You can adjust units facing. There's a free pivot phase. Probably all facing except for this dude here and this dude over here facing the way I want to face. So we're going to orient those. I don't know that. Yeah, I think that's the best facing for that chap over here. So, oh, it's so much quieter without that extra strong. So that is everybody, and that would be the end of turn 6, and we would now start another turn. So here's what I would do, and that Overwatch command comes off there. Now, so when we begin turn 7, we would then go through the same cycle again where we have some pre-turn things we can do. And one of the first things I can do in the pre-turn is use the smoke discharges. And both of these guys here are going to try and do that. And what you're going to do is roll under your smoke discharger number, and the black one will be the dude on the left. So he gets his, and this guy does not get his. So we get to put, there's a little marker here somewhere, smoke on. So I'm going to put smoke on this guy. I just put it behind them like that. Sorry about the blur there. And he's already in a brewed up hex, so he is not going to worry about smoke, but he is very concerned about the number of tanks coming his way. I am going to put a fire short halt on him because well, that's a command. We don't do that yet, but I'm going to do that. This guy, he is not excited about the idea of smoke. He rolls a 10 idea of smoke. He's not excited about the idea of this guy still being here. He rolls a 10. He fails his smoke discharge. No one else is going to discharge any smoke, and there's no wacky other long-range shots that I can see. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, I mean, that would be a complete, no, there's no way he can see into there. Okay, all right, so now what we would do is put commands down, and clearly we're going to put a short halt command on this guy. There's a comment, let me see what that is. Hey Rob, yeah, good for checking in, thanks man. It's God-forsaken o'clock. Where the heck do you live? Hey, Patrick. That's right, you're in Anchorage. I forgot that. This guy might actually... he might try and hang tough with this tank. So he's going to go... He's going to fire. That's what he'll do. He'll fire. These guys go into Overwatch over on the far side. That's 2 orders. I'm going to put a single order here, 3 orders. I've only got 4. And I guess, kind of to keep it real, we should probably do an Overwatch on that far T80. There's a temptation to go charging off into the wilderness and doing something stupid, but we'll stay there. And on the Yank side, we're popping fire orders like madmen. So 1, 2, that order's 3. This guy is going to race over here. All of them are going to go. That's 4. I'm putting a fire order on this guy. That's 5 orders. I may as well try and move these tanks to some place where I can get hull down and do something dirty. I'm going to move these two tanks into the gully and kind of hope to spring a trap on anything that tries to come and take. I'm over here to take these two or come from this direction, as that seems to be the plan that the Soviets have. Okay, so let's roll for initiative. So we're going to roll. Some D10s and stuff for initiative. We're going to do. There's a blue die. I haven't taken any pictures, so that's going to be problematic for the AAR. Okay, Yanks get it. 92 versus 36. So the Yanks get to fire first. They have the first platoon fire. They're going to use this guy to fire at that tank, and they're going to run like scared girls. So let's do that. Let's do that stuff. Let's grab the, is it an M1 or an M1A1? It's an M1A1. So this might be a close shot. We'll see what happens here. So we're doing it this way this time. I think you guys can see that okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, it's just one hex off being a point blank range. That sucks. Okay, let's grab some dices. 2 of them, 2 of them, box of naked lady tees, and that guy. Roll all these bad boys. It's going to be a rock and roll and shot. Here we go. Starting out with a 10 and a 1. That's 11. And we roll a 10 for the damage. So if it hits, if it does in fact go through, it's going to be a brew up. Let's see what happens. That's not good, I don't think. And that might not be good. All right, let's check it out, okay? We're going to have to, now, once again, as I look at this, I know I rolled an 11. I don't need to look at all of these modifiers and adjusters here. I would have, and here's why, in particular for this NATO tank, that's here, because he is in smoke, so that would normally give you a -3 to hit, but he has thermal sights, so he only gets a -1. He gets a +1 row for being NATO. He's on the short range, which means he's got a 70% chance to hit. He's on the +1. That pops him up to 77% chance to hit. Now, he is doing a short halt, but if we look at his SB number, he has an SB number of 1. Can you see that there? So I look on the table, and it says short halt SB0, or SB1, 2, and 3, and it says a -1. So that drops me back down to 0. So I just wasted 5 minutes looking at that shit, and I don't care because I rolled an 11. I'm a rock star. So 11 is going to be a hit. I'm going to make a note of my result for the AAR that is rapidly falling to pieces. 1, 2, and 7, and 0. And this is the M1 onto the T80. Okay. Let's see. I wish I could take a photograph while I'm actually... I probably can, you know? I'm going to do this. All right. Now, so the next thing we do, we got to look at location. Roll a 1. A location on the AP hits location. Coming in on this guy. Coming in on this guy. It's kind of an interesting angle. The reverse angle there was a... that's going to be through the front. You loser. Basically, it's going to be through the front. Yeah, well. Okay, so front, roll a 1, turret front. That's not necessarily great because the turret's the strongest part. 95. Need to move the camera, Kevin, so you can see. 95. Oh, but look. Oh, Daddy wants a brand new pair of shoes. I get a 119. So my penetration is 119. The defense is 95, but I've got to make that, I'm doing that variable damage thing. So I'm going to look at that little table, and a 2 is a minus. Oh boy, I'm on the 119. That's minus 9. Shit, minus 9. Please don't let 7 be bad. 7 is plus, so that's plus 3. So that's going to make it a net minus 6. Okay, we're good. So that's going to make that 113 on the penetration versus 95 equals a hit. We then go down to the 0. Oh, there would be cover, right? Medium cover. That's going to pop it down minus 3. Let's see. So my to hit chance would have gone down to a net of 56%. Still, we rolled 11%. No way we would have missed that shot. Okay, so I need to make a note of that too, I guess. 55% to hit. And what was I saying? A 10 is a brew up. I am actually out of brew up. Marcus, no, not one left. Boom. That guy does not get the fire. He is gone. That is a brew up. So that is another shot. Yeah, game is set. Hey, Tony, welcome to the, whatever you call this thing that we're doing here. Yeah, it's set in 87. The M1A1, I think, was released in 85-ish, thereabouts. There's M1s in this game, M1A1s, there's M1Ps, T80s, 2 types of T80s, actually. So, in any case, that is, this is exactly the same system as the as Panzer. Everything you've seen me do here, you do in Panzer. It's identical. The only differences are some of these variable armor rating thingies where you have these chemical energy defense systems and these ERA systems, which is those little bricks. I mentioned earlier on that the CE armor was the exploding bricks. It's not. That's Chobram, I believe. Or however you pronounce that. The ERA stuff is the bricks. And you've got to roll a die to see if that actually works. You have a 70% chance of it being successful before you get to do this this value here. Okay, so that is actually another combat out of the way. Now, if we looked at if I fired a heat round, see, I had that choice there as well with the CE. That would have been another option for us in this situation. Did I say it was turret front? Turret front. So see, a CE round, if I had to hit turret front, we would have missed. Oh, you can't see. I'm sorry, dudes. Here I would have had a penetration of 100, but my defense on the turret is 119, so that would have been a non-penetrating hit, and it would have missed. I would have had to rely, oh, that's rear. I would have had to get a front side shot, and even then, with it on the T80, look at that, 140 on the side. Oh, that's front side shot. Turret front. What's the difference here? So that's a good point. What is the difference here between the 119 and the 140? Front side. That's something I need to check. I need to review that rule there and see why that is the way it is. Okay, it's very warm down here, and I don't want to put the air conditioner back on again because it's so loud. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to zoom out a little bit and have a look. And we've been doing this for an hour, and I've got to get some dinner and stuff. So I have fire actions here. I can't see that unit over there because that's really not there anymore. Yes, it is, because I moved. One of those tanks moved in there. So we might have a shot here. And I think everything else is going to be move actions. So we're going to wrap it up here halfway through turn 7. I'm going to make a little note. and we will reconvene at some point in the future at some later turn. Appreciate you guys checking in, and thanks for hanging out. If you have any questions, pop them into the YouTube thing or send me an email or whatever. I'm no expert in this game. I just enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Everything is down into 1, 2, 3, 3 tables and a couple of data cards, right? So it's pretty straightforward. All right. Yeah, Tony, I think you're absolutely right with the front side rating. What I found curious though was you're right that it's hard. I look at the whole front on the side, 156. I just didn't notice anything equivalent on the Abrams. So there's a significant difference, right? You look at the two sets of defensive information. I'll see, and that's also 123, 117. Yeah, so it's higher there as well. Okay, so that makes sense. That's good. We shot that guy through the front, so I was just making sure I didn't rip off the Soviet player there. Good comment. Sometimes when you're looking at these charts and tables and trying to provide a dialogue and all the rest of it, it's easy to get lost. It's easy for me to get lost playing by myself. So all the best. Talk to you guys soon. And there's a couple of comments coming in. Okay, thank you very much. Talk to you guys soon.